Welcome to another Impact Drive Time presentation, a value-added feature designed to help you increase your bottom line from Gateway Financial Advisors Incorporated. GFA is striving to provide our partners the synergy, support, and motivation needed to achieve their maximum potential. Go to www.gfainvestments.com or call 888-939-9714 to find out how you can be part of the winning team of Gateway Financial Advisors Incorporated. Now sit back and enjoy as Gateway Financial Advisors presents another Impact Drive Time presentation to help you increase your bottom line.
Welcome to another Drive Time Impact Gateway podcast designed to help you increase your bottom line. I'm Shane Westholter, the CEO and founder of Gateway Financial Advisors and Gateway Insurance Group. And here at Gateway Insurance and Financial Services, we help you take the if out of life so you can live a quality life and maintain your dignity. Today, I have a special guest, Hawley MacLean, who is with MacLean Financial Group, MFG we call it, focuses on helping people gather wealth, get their dreams in order, and making sure that they can do that. But we want to begin by sharing with all of our listeners a little bit about yourself, some background, maybe something about your childhood, or one question that I ask guests a lot of times just to kind of get things started is, what is that one proud accomplishment before age 25 that maybe someone doesn't know about you that you'd like to share?
Let's see. I was and I think I still might hold the record for selling the most Kirby vacuums door to door when I was 18, 19, and went up and won a bunch of money and a Corvette, and did that all knocking on doors in Reno and Northern Nevada for a month.
Wow, very cool. So that kind of got you into sales pretty early. So give us a little background, I guess, on your childhood, education, sports, drama, school, things that people kind of want to know, like what made Hawley MacLean who he is today.
I grew up in Northern Nevada, and I went to the University of Nevada, Reno, and I was going to college. I was actually worked as a flight medic, and both on a helicopter and a fixed wing aircraft and a ground ambulance, and was on the trauma team at both hospitals. And so that was pretty exciting and got some really good life skills there, learning how to make literally life and death decisions and to prioritize and keep everything organized. And I think that really, and be able to work with other people and other disciplines. And so all under pressure. And I think that works out really well moving forward with dealing with clients doing the financial services. Our family's been in financial services for 4 generations now. So I just figured I'd kind of follow in the family footsteps. It's kind of funny. My cousin who's in the business, he's about 10 years older than me. My father talked him into going into the financial services business. And then once he was into it and I was looking for a good career to do, my cousin, Hank, talked me into going into the financial services business. And we worked on the same companies for a number of years.
Very nice. So it sounds like it was a family business, which we'll elaborate on a little bit more as we go. I do know, you're involved with a bank there in Reno, where you're located up in Reno, Nevada. But before we dive too much into the financial service side right now, let's talk a little bit about, you and I have gotten to be friends over the years, and we've had some trips together, which I really enjoy. But I know that you've got a passion for trains as well, and maybe share with people who don't know you that well where that passion came from in the locomotive side.
Sure. My dad had become good friends with Walt Disney, and we had a home in Los Angeles. And in the late 50s, the two of them built a steam engine together, Dad's steam engine, and it ran around our property in Los Angeles. And so I grew up riding on the back end of a little steam engine every Sunday, and that was a lot of fun. And then, about 20 years ago, I was reading an article about garden railroads, and I thought, well, that would be kind of cool. So we built a garden railroad at our old house and then moved it to our new house about 10 years ago. And it's a lot of fun. You get to learn about history and building and electronics and all that sort of fun stuff. And something the whole family can do. And so we have several thousand feet of track now that go all the way around our house and through the house. And from that, we do a lot of charity events. So we raised over $500,000 hosting charity events on that little garden railroad. And it was kind of funny. One of the companies that I was buying a lot of the material stuff from to build it, the guy that owned it called up one day and said, instead of buying the company piece by piece, why don't you buy the whole company? And and so we talked about it for a while, and I ended up becoming a partner with him. But part of that reason is, one is I enjoy working with model trains and so forth. But I think it's really important to have a real understanding. Most of our work is dealing with business owners, and it's really, I find it kind of get a little chuckle sometimes when I'll be talking with a new prospect or a new client, and they'll be talking about their other advisor recommending something or whatever. And a lot of times these other advisors don't even own the investments, same type of investments that they recommended their client. They've never owned a business. They have no idea what it's like to deal with HR issues and taxes and payroll and all the things that a business owner has to deal with. And so that's another reason I've started a couple of these other businesses, because I want to really be sitting on the same side of the table as our clients and understanding what it's like to own and operate a business and all the things that get thrown at you every day. And so I think that also gives us a kind of a unique perspective is, I know what it's like to have to make payroll. I know what it's like to competition and when the market changes and all this, and of owning a business. And so I think that helps us just relate and have a better sense of what's going on with our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this last year, especially with small businesses, having there's some of those challenges and effects, open one day, close the next, limited hours of open or limited capacity, employees on, employees off, all those challenges. So definitely plays into, I know what you do on the financial service side. I also know, visiting your office there, you mentioned the train in your garden yard there at the home, but you also have one that runs throughout not only the office, but the entire building there that your office is located in and that you own, which I find fascinating. I don't have a train in my office, but I do have the 4 railroad stocks from the Monopoly board and stock certificates hanging in the wall in our office. So we do talk about that.
Well, it's really quite a conversational starter. Most of the stuff, after being in the business for be 31 years in June, we started out, you listen to your manager and the classes that you take, and you say, hey, if you do all this stuff for your clients, they'll have this 30 years from now or whatever. And a lot of the time, so what we're selling, if we're selling, hey, you need to invest in this for your retirement, or you need to buy this life insurance, whatever. A lot of times there is nothing tangible that they can get their hands on. And so they just have to kind of take your word for it. It is kind of cool now doing this for, over 30 years. Geez, our recommendations work, and they actually work better than we told the clients to do. So that's been very rewarding. And, having the trains and having unique things in our office, it's kind of like the next best thing that's tangible. It's like we really value our family's been in multi-generational wealth for 150 years. And so to go ahead and come in the office and see stuff that's been from our family's generation, multiple generations, we're an open book, and then say, yeah, we eat what we cook, and we practice what we preach, and we know it works.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, just looking at your office and the way you've modeled that, what you're saying, I can share with the listeners, you've got a lot of things in there that give you talking points where, whether it's the trains and going back and talking about, what built this country, how did the Industrial Revolution all come into play, and building the railroads from the east to the west and opening up, the west, as we say, and just a variety of things, right? I know you're also involved in a lot of charity and foundations, involved with the U.S. Olympic committees and, help in that area. You've got horses, you've got, bank up there. Like you said, you're an entrepreneur at heart, and I think that helps relate to your clients. Like you said, working with other business owners and say, I can feel what you're going through, or I understand what you're going through. And, I alluded to the trips, one last thing, and I'll let you make some comments, is that, going on the trips with you overseas, going to Italy and different places, planes, trains, and automobiles, we called it, and even boats. It was fun to experience all of that and really, I guess, in a way embrace, how industry develops, how businesses develop, and how we as a culture and a world, I guess, not just the United States, but the world, have developed into all these different areas of transportation and commerce and all the things that we're doing. So I really appreciate the insight that you have on a lot of that, because I think even with your family being in the finance and banking and insurance and all of that for the years, you have a real good, solid background on how to coach business owners in getting their focus and maybe their budgets and their finances in line. Tell me a little bit about how all of that, as we're talking about your life experience and things that you do, what's your primary why?
When I was in high school, I was a professional magician, and then went into the college and got my degree in technical theater and pre-hospital emergency medicine. And they go, what does that do? How's that helping you out with being a financial planner?
Telling me you can make my money disappear and then reappear, or what?
Right, yeah. Just wave my hand. In technical theater, you're doing everything but acting. You're learning how to manage a show. You're doing light design, set design, money management, budgeting, all of these things, picking out the script and after I've gone through it, this gave me really the life skills for financial planning. Because as in technical theater, you're handed a script, and a script is nothing more than a whole bunch of pieces of paper with a bunch of letters on it, a bunch of ink. And, somebody go ahead and hand you a script from Shakespeare. And just in a script form, it is the most boring, dry thing, and most people can't even relate to it. Well, that's the same thing with a lot of business owners and a lot of our clients. They come in with all these statements and tax returns and insurance policies and HR and wills and trusts. And all it is a whole bunch of paper with a bunch of words and numbers on it. And it's our job to take all of that information, all that data, and turn it into a story, their story, that they can relate to. And that's the most important thing, because I can't tell you how many times I've had clients go, I've had these different stockbrokers and this and that, and you're the first person that's ever been able to pull it all together and lay it out in a story that I can understand. And if you don't have an understanding of it, then it's pretty useless. And so that, I think, is how it kind of all pulls together. But that's what's rewarding, is being able to take all that stuff, put it all together, and get them excited, and then be able to figure out what their goals are and to help them achieve their goals. So it's so cool when somebody gets ready to sell their business, and we can go, hey, yeah, we can sell it, and you've set enough money, and you have more than enough money to send your kids to college and retire and buy that second home, or whatever their goals are. And that's really rewarding. Same thing, we started doing doing these adventure tours, and that's another way to kind of give something tangible to what we do to our clients financially. The trips, we are completely planned out. We take care of every single detail. Sometimes it's pretty hard for them to see all the stuff that we go through behind the scenes for managing their portfolios or coming up with their plan or whatever. But when you take them out on a trip to a different country, and all the things that you already thought of and taken care of and organized, and they're kind of trusting us with their life savings, and they're trusting us now to show them an amazing time somewhere in the world. And so that kind of helps give them that confidence that, hey, we're good guys and gals, and we know what we're doing, and we're highly organized, and we really care about our clients. We treat them like family, and that works really well. And it's so rewarding when when we meet with a client, we do their reviews, and they've met their goals, and that's great, or we've exceeded them. And same thing on the trips, when they come in and go, oh my God, we've just had the most amazing experience we've ever had in our life. We saw this or we did that. That's what's rewarding. Jill and I could go ahead and travel around the world as much as we wanted to, and but we enjoy doing this and sharing it with our friends and family and clients. That's really rewarding. So I think that's kind of would be the kind of the why, and how it kind of all pulls together is doing. The hard part is, if you buy a life insurance policy from an insurance company, there's 100 other insurance companies out there that are basically the same. you go ahead and you buy a Fidelity mutual fund from some stockbroker. Well, it's the same exact fund that I have access to or somebody else has access to. So that part has become very commoditized, and anybody can do it. You can just go online. I think Charles Schwab had a baby picking out stocks, in the crib as a commercial. But I tell people, access to information is not the same as knowledge and experience. So we bring the knowledge and experience together and tell their story. They give us the information and we kind of pull it all together and get them to have a really good story that they understand. It's their life story. Like I said, we take the if out of life, and they can really relate to it. If they can relate to it, then they can understand and be a lot more engaged. And if you don't have to be an expert, become an expert in investments or financial planning when you're working with us, but we'd love for the clients to be engaged and understand what's going on and why we make these decisions one way or the other.
I think that's great information and a great segue towards the last half of this presentation or podcast, and that is I picked up a couple of things out of what you said. The trips, the adventure trips, that helps people in a number of ways, as you explained. I think it also gives you the opportunity to help them set some goals, maybe some bucket list items. Somebody might say, hey, I've got on my list here to go to Switzerland or to go to Ireland or, go to Germany or go where, Europe or wherever. And you can help them financially plan for that. Then when they achieve it, they go experience the trip. It's kind of that reward, as you said, seeing the value.
Everybody should have a coach, and so I've had business coaches in the past, and the guys said, I was thinking about doing this marketing and, spending X amount trying to get new clients and so forth. And said something really funny. So instead of spending all that time and effort on trying to get new clients, why don't you spend that time and effort with your existing clients and build those relationships? This was some 15, 20 years ago, and that's what we started doing. And taking these clients on these trips, and we get to spend 2 weeks with them traveling to absolutely amazing places around the world and experience amazing foods and cultures and things like that. We have a bunch of other successful business owners on the trip. The idea sharing and conversations that start going, extremely powerful and rewarding experience for everybody. And our clients get new ideas and kind of new mentors and other people to talk about their businesses with. And it just totally helps catapult them to just a much deeper engagement with us and their business, and ultimately, and trying to increase shareholder value for those companies.
Yeah, totally appreciate that. So tell me a little bit about the focus of your business. Let's talk about MacLean Financial Group. And I know you've got a whole team of people there, so you kind of work in a team approach, I guess, to help others understand how you operate in your office. If you were to say, give me, I'm a potential client, so help me understand what is the main focus of what you offer versus the financial office, across the hallway or across the street from you.
We help business owners become more profitable by paying less in taxes, by helping them protect the investments they've made in their business, by helping them address management, succession, and estate planning issues. It's very comprehensive when we look at everything from taxes to wills and trusts to insurance to investments to, we look back a generation, we look forward a generation, and try and tie all that together. And I think that's one of the things that really make us unique, is we really look at the whole picture and then come up with a plan. One of the things, so many times I've seen advisors and clients come in, and I always say it's product first and plan second. They have this great product, they sell it to the client, and then they come up with a plan to support the product that they sold. And I think that's just, doing a disservice for everybody. I always tell people the products, there's really, you're dealing with reputable companies and so forth. Products are nothing more than a financial tool, and that doesn't make them good or bad. It's just like with any tool. If you use it incorrectly, you're going to get hurt. If you use it correctly, it's going to do a great job. And so these are just financial tools, and you need somebody who knows how to operate them and bring everything together and build that plan for you. So in our office is a 100% team approach. We don't have any quote unquote individual producers. We have that Dan works and oversees the financial planning. Larry is now starting to support Dan. We have an employee benefits company that does all the medical and dental and vision and voluntary benefits and all that. Because as a business owner, one of the biggest headaches is your benefit plans. And so we have Steve who runs that company is very knowledgeable, and we can put together really a comprehensive benefit plan. We almost always exceed on increasing the coverages and lowering those rates. We don't just sell a product. We come in and really try and understand the company, and then we try and figure out a plan for the next 2 or 3 years with those benefits. So we aren't being just reactive to whatever an insurance company does. We kind of have a plan in place, and have ways that we can move around depending on what's happening in the health insurance business. So those are all things. It's very much a team approach. And what's nice is we plan everything out. We're proactive, and so it's not like I have talked to other advisors. Oh my God, the phone was ringing off the hook yesterday because the market went down, and we don't have that. Our clients, being that we've put it all together to a plan, we've coached them and built something that they understand. Now they understand that the market's going to go up and down, and we've built their plan to go ahead and be within their comfort zone. So our phone isn't ringing off the hook when the markets go up or down, because we have them in a nice plan, and we meet on a regular basis. And so part of that is managing expectations with clients and getting them comfortable with what's going on in the markets and their own investments. And so if we can relieve that stress from them, that's priceless just in it itself.
Yeah, exactly. And I appreciate that. I know we came up through the industry, very similar paths, insurance, financial services, and now in the independent space and et cetera. And I think part of what I hear you say is you're building that trust relationship with the clients. You're building in for lack of a better way of saying it, almost a partnership where you're there as their counsel, you're there as needed. I think you also have bridged over a little bit with what your services are, in that you're perceived almost as a consultant, I would say, for some businesses, and you're able to, help maybe you sit in some board meetings or sit in some board calls, or maybe you sit with the CFO, at a business and help them really digest, like you said, all of those paperwork reports and data, and say, okay, it's all numbers, but how do we get a plan out of that, and what's our focus? So would it be fair to say that you have people now that are hiring you and using you more as a business consultant capacity in the space of the financial services and insurance?
Yeah, that's certainly exactly what we're doing. Is and we kind of chuckle a little bit. It's kind of halfway between a consultant and a therapist. We go, and I don't know, should we go ahead and take out the conference room and put a couch in there for therapy sessions, or maybe a little bar in the corner to celebrate all their successes or whatever? So that's what's really good, is we are, we understand all the investments and all the, quote unquote product stuff. But when we get into much more of almost a peer-to-peer discussion with the business owner, as a consultant, or really more as a sounding board. I don't even like the term consultant. It's, we really are a professional sounding board. They come in and say, I'm thinking about doing this or that. And we'll go ahead and run through the different scenarios. And, we had somebody come in a few weeks ago, and they're all excited that they'd gotten this big offer for their business, which was more than they even thought, quite a bit more than what they thought it'd be worth. And we talked to them, and we ran the numbers and so forth. And afterwards said, that's a great price. It's over the multiple. They're paying more than what it's worth. But what are you going to do after you get that check? It's not enough money to carry you all the way through the rest of your life. It's a decent check, but not enough. So are you going to take this money and go start something else and then risk all that again? So we kind of sounded that, and afterwards just said, hey, it's a great price, but the timing's wrong. And so they were so, thankful over that. We had another client that walked in, and we were talking about we do a lot of work. We're certified exit planning advisors. And so we do a lot of work in talking with business owners on the succession of their business. And one of the first things when a new client comes in or somebody's going to buy a new business, my first question is, well, that's great. How are you going to get rid of it? There's only three things you can do with a business interest. You can sell it, you can give it away, or you can liquidate it. So what's your plan to maximize shareholder value in each one of those situations? And so this one person, they came in and they got a really nice offer on their business. And we started looking at it and I go, you know what? There's like three or four types of buyer groups for businesses. One is going to be, you're going to sell it to a family member. And well, that's usually the lowest valuation. It's almost a gift with a nominal purchase price. The next thing after that, and the next level up would be an employee purchase. You're going to sell it to some key employees. Problem with most companies and the key employees, they don't have enough financial assets to really put together a good deal for the owner. So the owner ends up having to finance part of it or whatever. And that's kind of like the next step up on a valuation. It's still usually below under market. Then the next buyer group after that is what we call a value buyer. And a value buyer is somebody that, can qualify for financing or they have the cash or something like that, but they're buying your business because they think it's a good value. They think that they can buy it and turn it around or, they can run it themselves, make a good living or, do a few things and increase the value. And then the final, I'd say the value buyer is usually the closest to what I would call fair market value. Then the final one would be a strategic buyer. And that's somebody that's going to pay a premium for your business. They want to buy it because you're the competition and they want to close down the competition, or maybe you're in a geographic location where they want to be. And so they're going to pay a premium for that business. And so this one client that we've been working with for quite a while, they came in and we said, hey, they'd been learning and I think we have a really good value buyer here for the company and they're offering us a good price. And I think they're offering us around $7 million. And that was probably a few $100,000 over what we felt was fair market value. But then I said, have we ever thought about taking this? Because this company is so well run and we've been working with them for a while and kind of positioning it. This would be an ideal company for a strategic buyer to get. And so we started looking around and they looked around and lo and behold, they found a strategic buyer. Well, the offer went from $7 million to $14 million. That's just an idea of, looking at different ways of transferring a business and being that sounding board. We didn't set up the deal or anything like that, but it was just, okay, let's look at it, be your sounding board. And, is there another option? We had another gentleman that was going to basically installed heating and air conditioning software management systems for like schools and hospitals, and all of his employees were really subcontractors and 1099. And so he had his daughter and himself and one other employee and, a couple of trucks. And now he'd been working with us for almost 30 years. So we had totally funded his retirement plan and all that. And part of our planning strategy for working with the client line up is say, let's get enough income producing assets outside of your business or that when you come to retire, you can just give away your business and it won't have any impact on your lifestyle. You're totally set regardless of what happens to the value of your business. And that's kind of what happened to him. And it's all right. There was a downturn and he's ready to retire. So, we're just going to close up shop this year and, sell the trucks and we'll be done. Maybe get $50,000 out of the deal. And I said, well, why would you want to do that? You do have a decent business. We talked to a couple of business brokers and literally we were talking to him yesterday and we had a deal on the table for about $500,000. And that was $500,000 of newfound money that was never even on his radar. He was just going to close up, live happily ever after. And so that's, I think, just being that sounding board of, hey, here's another idea.
I love that, and I think that's how the clients come to get to know good financial planners like yourself that are in this business. They come to you for a variety of reasons and your connections, and those are some great stories. And as we wrap up for today, I think, the value that you bring to business owners can't be overstated. It's really, I think with all your background, I know you've served on a lot of different committees, a lot of different organizations. You've sat in a lot of boards, profit, nonprofit, and the like. All that experience is really valuable. And I think if clients that want to do business, with MacLean Financial Group, that they look at you and they say, look, here's somebody who not only can give us like you said, the product and the textbook knowledge, the academic knowledge, but also gives us some life experience knowledge. And that's a huge value add that you and your team can bring, to the community and people that want to do business. With that, how do people do business with you? How do they get a hold of your firm, and what's the best email or the best phone number, the best way to contact?
Very easy. Our website is MacLean, MacLean, financialgroup.com. And our number is 775-329-3041. My email is Hawley, Hawley, at MacLean Financial Group. If they want to go on a great trip, our tour company is MacLeanadventures.com. You mentioned the bank. It was about 25 years ago or so, half dozen of us got together and scraped together about $3.5 million to start a local bank, a community bank. And from that, over the 25 plus years, we were able to grow that into almost a $750 million operation. And we were a business bank. And we do, all the business loans and things like that. And I was secretary of the board, and I was on the loan committee and technology committee and a couple other committees of the bank. And we ended up being one of the top-rated community banks in the country out of 6,000 banks several years in a row. Seeing all these businesses come through the door and do their loans and so forth really kind of gives you an insight. I mean, you're seeing what successful businesses are doing all the time, and what some businesses aren't doing that they should be doing. And so that was one other asset that gives us a little bit more insight on what's going on, especially with the business. And I think one of the main common denominators I get asked is, what do you think is the main difference between a successful, a really successful business owner and one that's not so successful? And it is absolutely unconditionally the ability to make decisions. And that's the one common thread across all of them, the business owners, is that if you have a business owner, and there's also a saying, it's a difference between making decisions and making good or bad decisions. The more important thing is making decisions, and I'll talk to business owners, and they can get the information and they can rather quickly turn around and make a decision. Of course, they want to make a good decision, but they don't get hung up on, is this a good decision or a bad decision? They make the decision because they know if it ends up not being as good a decision as they wanted to, they'll make another decision to change that or modify it. It's the ones that spend so much time trying to make sure they're going to make a good decision, or overanalyze or procrastinate or whatever, that just filters down through the entire company, drags it down, and they just get bogged down, and they can never get their momentum going. So that's another thing, is really successful business owners are really good at making decisions. And just like anything, the more that you do and the more often you do it, the better you get. So you start making these decisions and keep making them and making, and you'll get better at making even better decisions. So that's kind of a little takeaway from, I guess, today is, focus on your ability to make decisions.
I think you're spot on, and those are great words of advice, great insight. One more time, how do they get a hold of you? And we'll call it a wrap for now.
JWLEY at MacLean, MacLean, financialgroup.com. And that number, once again, is 775-329-3041.
Very good. Thank you, Hawley, for being on. Again, this will wrap us up for another Drive Time Impact Gateway podcast. Thank you for joining us. Hawley MacLean with MacLean Financial Group over in Reno, Nevada, but has clients nationwide. So reach out to them, whether you're a small business, a medium size, a large business, or just an individual that wants good financial advice. Give Hawley and his group of team a call. Thank you, Hawley, for being on. Appreciate you being part of Gateway, and look forward to another trip here real soon.
Thank you very much, Shane.
Thank you for joining us today, and we hope you enjoyed this program. GFA is focused on being a one-stop shop for full financial planning. To get more information about how you can join and be part of this winning team, go to www.gfainvestments.com or call us at 888-939-9714. Once again, our website is www.gfainvestments.com, or you can contact us at 888-939-9714. This has been a presentation of Gateway Financial Advisors, Incorporated. And remember, focus on your maximum potential.
Thank you for listening to our Gateway podcast. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated, a broker-dealer, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Gateway Financial Advisors Incorporated and Cambridge Investment Research are not affiliated.